Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here as always. So today, sun sign, moon sign. Sun sign, Virgo, moon sign, Capricorn. Virgo is the hermit. What? Virgo is the hermit. Hermit holds the light high for others to see, so the hermit is a teacher. The hermit looks at both sides of an issue. That's why the hermit is the color gray, because he's the color neutral. Not black, not white, but a combination of the black and the white, gray. So you have the hermit who has gone into solitude in order to gain some wisdom, and comes out holding the lantern high for others to see, because he gained that wisdom in the dark, in the place of understanding, and now is in the world. This is what Virgo is all about. So during this time of Virgo, we're looking at issues dealing with teaching, healing, helping others, shining the light for others to see through the darkness. Okay? Now, moon sign for today, like it was yesterday, is Capricorn. Capricorn's an earth sign. So it means it deals with the things of the physical world, of the earthly plane. This particular card has the Hebrew letter assigned to it that is ayin, which means I. So the lesson of this card is to look past the illusion, because when we get caught up in the illusion that physical world is all that there is, then we're caught up in a grand illusion because we don't see past that. So we have to use our eye, our discerning eye, our spiritual eye, to look past the illusion of the physical world to see that this isn't real, to see that this is just an illusion. And when we look past it, our conscious and our unconscious mind, we find, are not chained to the box of ignorance, but are free to move in the world. And so that is the whole lesson with the devil. We're not needing to avoid. We're going to walk through the world. The devil's in this world. We're going to encounter the devil all the time. We have to not be afraid of what this character is, because all this character is doing is offer us another opportunity to see if we are moving forward or backwards. Because the devil character is just quality control. Offers you something. Whether you take it or not, that's your choice. Okay? So we have to understand what this character offers is things of the physical world. He doesn't offer spiritual things. He offers physical worldly things. And in those physical worldly things, we sometimes get caught up thinking that's all there is. Remember when Jesus went up, what did the devil want to give Jesus? Have all this kingdom, it's all yours. Jesus didn't work for it. He didn't earn that. He didn't want that. He didn't feel entitled to have that. So when he was offered by the devil, he turned it down. Okay? If we take something and we haven't earned it, then the way in which we're going to look at that thing is going to be different. If we get caught up in the physical world and we get the physical world or the riches of the physical world and we're not ready to deal with it properly, guess what? It doesn't work out so good. We see all the time physical things crash. So we need to be very aware of where this character is in our lives. This is part of the game that is being played. So we need to be like the hermit. The hermit's also an earth sign, dealing with the physical world, but the way in which these two characters deal with the physical world is different. This one is being patient to see through it, to help bring light to illuminate the darkness. Whereas this one is just dealing with the physical world and only wants to show you things of the physical world so that you think that that's all there is. All right, I know I was long-winded on those two, but these are very important, and when we understand them, it's really helpful. So here we see the Capricorn is the moon sign, unconscious mind. Planetary aspects we have coming up today is we have Capricorn, the moon, is going to be in a sextile with Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. The whole idea is that inside each one of us, there's a part of ourselves that need to be healed, whether it's from this lifetime, whether it's from a previous lifetime on this planet or maybe another planet, whatever it is, something inside our nature, inside our being, needs to be healed. And the only one who could do that healing is ourselves. Therefore, we need to have an understanding of what this is all about. So Capricorn, that physical, worldly being, needs to understand what it is that the wounded aspect of ourselves needs so that we can move past the problems that we're having, so we can be healed. Okay? Shortly after that, Capricorn is going to be in a square here with Uranus. Uranus brings unexpected changes, surprises. 11:07 a.m., a little after that, Saturn and Mercury are going to be having a aspect. Mercury is about communication. Saturn is about discipline. Disciplining our communication, honing it down, focusing it, what we're going to say. And then finally here, 5:02 p.m., the Sun is going to be conjunct Jupiter, which means they're going to be right next to talking to each other. So Virgo is going to be having a talk with Jupiter, and Jupiter wants to expand things. Jupiter wants to expand, so that will take place later. Here's our Sun sign, and later these two are going to be in conjunction together as the day gets on. So there you have it for today. On the Jewish calendar, today is 11 Elul. 11 Elul is the name of the day, the daily thought. When is God? God is found at two poles of time. He is found outside time and beyond. And he is found here within the moment now. From the point beyond time, God looks within the moment now, and he says, "From this I will have delight." With that choice, all of the past and the future is created anew. On the Dreamspell Oracle, today is the second day of a wave spell, the wave spell of the seed. So, if you remember, a wave spell is a 13-day period of time. Whatever the first symbol is up here, that is the theme for the entire 13 days. So this theme is the theme of the seed. The seed is all about planting things that become flowering objects, flowering things. So you plant a seed and it grows. And as it grows and becomes ripe, which is the color yellow, we then are able to make it useful in our lives. We have to let things ripen. So this is a theme all about growing, flowering, and we're at the second day of it, the challenge of that. And the challenge is the life force energy, the red serpent. Serpent brings us life force. So our challenge with this seed is applying the life force into what it is that we're trying to grow, to manifest. What is the energy in it? The wizard teaches us the lesson of timelessness, that what we're trying to do, it works in a system of timelessness. We don't need to be all pressured by it. The challenge for today is get our vision together, get our act together, so to speak. The hidden power is the warrior, our ability to ask questions, asking the right questions, and synchronicity and navigation. Well, that's our guide for today. Just allow the world, allow life to move us along, and all we need to do is pay attention to the signs along the way. The phrase for today is I polarize, which comes from the two. I polarize in order to survive. That comes from the serpent. Stabilizing instinct, again from the serpent. I seal the store of life force with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of navigation. So I'm just going to kind of point out what all of these are as I read through them from day to day. and then eventually you'll kind of catch on with what all the keywords are if you haven't already, and that way you'll know where I'm at. So I'm just trying to throw in as much info as I can in the time that we have together. All right, here we have a moon phase. It's almost a full moon. Pretty cool looking moon last night. It's a waxing moon, 86% of the way full. Spaceweather.com, solar wind 414.7 kilometers per second. Planetary K index currently unsettled between 4 and a 4. So if you feel that things might be unsettled, there is why. Big coronal hole, looks like a crack right down the middle of the sun, doesn't it? Definitely going to be feeling some wind from that over the next couple of days. It says 28th through the 29th of this weekend. M-class flare possibility has and is dropping from 60 to 55%. Mid-latitude geomagnetic storm activity seems to be going up from 20 to 30, and we have high latitudes seem to be going up as well, 25 to 30, 25 to 45. And up in the sky tonight, as the stars begin to come out, look upper left of the moon, 2 fists at arm's length for Altair. How early can you see it? Well, with the steady turning of the sky, or rather the Earth, Altair stands directly above the moon, about 10:30. Okay, so there you have it. There you be. That's what's going on today energetically. Just use that energy wisely. Use the understanding of the days wisely. That's what it's all about. There's nothing to give power up to. What possible thing would you give power up to? The ideas of what's going on today, the energy of the day, the symbolism. There's nothing that you give your power up to. We are beings that are living on this planet, divine beings. We use the energy around us to help us navigate through the world. We learn to channel this energy, while at the same time of channel it, we know how to stand aside to allow it to flow through us. So therefore is a co-creatorship. We have to learn to direct the energy as the magician, but we also have to know when to stand aside and let that energy do its part. Because remember, it is a partnership with spirit, 50-50. We do our part, and then when we do our part, and after we're done, we have to set aside our need to do more, and we then allow spirit to do its part, and we work together in a co-creatorship. Think of any partnership you work with. You do something and then your partner does something. Well, that's how it is in life. We do something and spirit does. If we just push and we never give spirit the opportunity to do its part, we're going to have a problem. Just like if we plant a seed, we have to allow that seed to grow. We can't go the next day and expect that we're going to have fruit on it. We have to let it go through its cycle. Everything has a cycle. Some cycles can be sped up, some can be slowed down, but everything has a cycle. And that's what we're looking to understand better and better all the time. All right, UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO news with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. We have a number of good stories here. Current sightings every day. So people say there's nothing going on. They're not really paying attention to the UFO news as you are. Here we have UFO hides in the clouds, watching below in Guadalajara, Mexico. This comes from the 25th. This UFO has a plasma-like static field around it, could possibly be caused by the source of propulsion of the craft. As many of you know, many old photos of UFOs from decades past have had a fuzzy look around them, causing them to look blurry. I'd love to know how this UFO leaves the area, darting from cloud to cloud. Okay, and here we have this UFO. The video is 3 minutes 54 seconds, and it's a good object of an orb. All right, So I'm going to leave this for you to look at. Just watching it fly around. Pretty cool. Next, Newark, Ohio. Here we have a UFO or something glowing in the sky. The glowing orb was caught in Newark 2 weeks ago, and we see a nice, high-quality video of the UFO as it moves over the house and over the guy silently. The object is white, not red and orange. This is not one. When you look below the lantern, you'll see a large opening and a flame from the fire at the bottom. Okay. Very interesting. Nice, good shot. Perfectly round UFO. Unidentified flying object. Next, 4 UFOs leaving the mountain in Alaska. There's little objects right here. This person went over his video and carefully found out and caught 4 UFOs leaving the top of a mountain in Alaska. The quality of the video is poor, but at least he caught it, so we know he did see something. UFOs are often seen entering and exit mountains in various places around the world. Alaska has a very low population, and that's what aliens like when choosing to make a base underground. Okay, onward. Okay, what is this here? This one tells us a 200,000-year-old statue was found on the moon. Aha, on the moon. I've never published this on my site, so it's about time. This is a statue of an angel found in the moon in 1969, but this was only released to the public in 2009 when Dr. Morris Charles revealed the images and the story in the news. Now, I had tried to find this person in the NASA archives. I succeeded, but the person's name is Dr. Charles Morris. You see, the news got his name backwards. Click on his name and you see him at NASA. This is the first evidence ever found in all these years. It says that the story is true. NASA is not going to like it. This is his photo. Okay. Noted scientists had just produced proof that the lunar surface was inhabited by intelligent life. A 10-inch angel sculpture embedded in a moon rock. Geologist Dr. Morris Charles revealed last week that NASA's lab workers chipped the angel from one of the rocks brought to Earth by the Apollo 11 astronauts 40 years ago. In 1969, Charles was a NASA scientist himself for 23 years, but left the agency in '87. He still remains close to many ties of his former colleagues. The implication of his figurine are absolutely mind-boggling. Mind-boggling! Now, I wonder, you remember years ago there was a situation where a museum, a prominent museum, I think it might have been in Venezuela, had a moon rock that was given to them from the moon rocks collected. I believe it might have even been from Apollo 11. Finally, after years of having this moon rock there, guess what? They found out it wasn't a moon rock. It was petrified wood. And they wondered why they paid so much to NASA for a piece of petrified wood. Because there are those, like myself, who aren't quite so certain that we went to the moon in the way that we were told the NASA program went. I think that the Van Allen radiation belt is a big electronic fence put around the Earth in order to keep us silly humans down here from going out there to cause problems out in space, because, well, that's usually what we do. We're a primitive race. We trash the planet. We see evidence where they're trashing space just by dropping debris here and there. You know, would you want that in your neighborhood? So that's what I think's going on. So when I see stuff like this, I take it with a grain of salt, because I just remember the piece of petrified wood that NASA passed off for years as being a moon rock, and lo and behold, it was only petrified wood. So be curious to see what this unearths over time. Watch 3 UFOs flying over the moon. Okay, a couple little specks here. Several UFOs captured on high-definition digital camera passing over the lunar surface. Cameraman claims in a series of videos posted on YouTube 3 black objects apparently moving near the moon, including one object that looks to be powered by rocket jets. The cameraman, named Crow777, claims he never posts any hoax videos and says he only manipulates color, contrast, and zoom to point further anomalies he caught on camera rather than mislead the viewers. He says the video description that he's not saying he captured an alien, but a ship that's controlled intelligently. The cameraman rules out any objects being satellites orbiting Earth in these 3 clips because at the length of time he took the video while they were passing the lunar surface lasted up to a minute. Okay, so here we go. 5-minute video. Okay, and there's our little, see that? Okay. I'm going to watch that so you can see it on your own. Former Navy rescue films a triangle. A witness with a military background reported spotting and capturing a photograph of a triangle-shaped UFO with 3 white pulsating lights in North Carolina at Concord. The witness was with his dogs outside his home at the 8 p.m. on the 11th of June. He said in the MUFON report that he saw the object hovering and then traveling northeast slowly before the lights went off, and then the UFO disappeared. The witness said that he had a military background, being a former Navy rescue. He claims to have known all the aircraft warning lights, and he says he never saw anything like the UFO in the military. According to Davis, the object in the video seems military, perhaps a type of black project aircraft, a variation of the Astra TR-3B. Okay, that's the extent of that video there. Texas witness in Austin. A Texas witness at Austin reported a silent triangle-shaped UFO flew overhead less than 1,300 feet about 6:44 a.m. August 19th, according to the MUFON database. The witness was sitting outside his apartment watching a squirrel on the rooftop when the object came into view. The squirrel was running along the peak of the roof about midway of the building. I was facing almost directly south when I noticed a triangle-shaped object just above the left of the squirrel, coming to me at a high rate of speed. It was like a blurry triangle shape with a fuzzy medium brown outline. It appeared to be a perfect triangle shape, and at one point, with one point up, the color of the body of the object appeared transparent as it seemed to change color to match the sky and the clouds as it went past. Okay, and one more UFO story. Unusual object enters the atmosphere 2015, August 24th. NASA all Skycam captures something out of what I would consider ordinarily on a fireball video of something entering the atmosphere in the sky over West Pennsylvania or possibly East Ohio. In the video, a man and his family observe a bright star-like object moving slowly next to the moon. The man just happened to be holding a high-resolution camera in anticipation of an upcoming rocket launch from Cape Canaveral when he snapped the picture of that. Very interesting. Kind of looks like a TIE fighter, huh? Well, sort of. Sort of. Alright, that's it. That's the UFO news for today. I am going to jump away to a song. Which song are we going to hear today, Mickey? See if you get this one right.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Shine down your light, shine down your light, shine
Great Spirit, shine down your light, shine down your light, shine down your light to light our way. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Great Spirit, show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Oh, 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 the wheel of life keeps rolling, rolling, rolling round and round, round and round. Nothing you can do will stop it, stop it. Nothing will slow it down. You gotta keep on going, going strong, going strong. You gotta keep believing and keep moving on. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 oh,
Yeah. Great Spirit. One of my favorite songs. That's why I like to play it. Alrighty, folks. We've been talking about the Krybalion. Krybalion. Here are the 7 principles of Krybalion. To refresh your memory. Principle number 1, the principle of mentalism. We've been reading more detailed information about that. The principle of mentalism states that we live in a universe that is a mind. One giant mind. And according to this giant mind, which we refer to as the All, we learn that the All is in the All. And it is equally true that the All is in all. So there's a difference there between in the All and in all, which basically tells us that the mind is everywhere. The mind is everywhere, okay? Second principle, which we're going to get into more detail today, is the principle of correspondence, because we have this mind, which has many levels to it, and the smallest level, according to this principle of correspondence, corresponds to the largest level. Or an example would be one drop of the ocean contains within it all of the elements of the rest of the ocean. So one drop is equal to the whole ocean. Though it is not the whole ocean, it is representative of the ocean because it contains the same properties and is made up of the same qualities and properties as the ocean. The third principle is the principle of vibration, that everything vibrates. Everything that vibrates has a pole, one end and the second end, 2 poles, and we vibrate back and forth between these poles in a rhythmic manner. What we do creates a cause, and that cause creates an effect. And the principle of gender reminds us that all things in the universe work according to the principle of masculine and feminine working together. Why? Because masculine is the name or representation for a pole of energy that is the positive pole, whereas female or feminine represents the other pole, which is the negative charge of the pole. And between the male and the female, there is one that is giving a charge and one that is receiving. And they work back and forth. And once that female takes that energy, she then sends it back through the masculine aspect of herself, and the feminine aspect of the masculine charge then receives. And back and forth it goes, male and female. So, therein lies the 7 principles. Very basic principles. These are the principles, Hermetic philosophy. We're going to get into now the next one, planes of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. The second great Hermetic principle embodies the truth that there is a harmony, agreement, and correspondence between the several planes of manifestation, life, and being. This truth is a truth because all that is included in the universe emanates from the same source, and the same laws, principles, and characteristics apply to each unit or combination of units of activity as each manifests its own phenomena upon its own plane. For the purpose of convenience of thought and stuck, the Hermetic philosophy considers that the universe may be divided into 3 great classes of phenomena known as the 3 great planes. We have the physical plane, the great physical plane, the great mental plane, and the great spiritual plane. These divisions are more or less artificial and arbitrary, for the truth is that all of these 3 divisions are but ascending degrees of the great scale of life, the lowest point of which is undifferentiated matter, and the highest point is that of spirit. And moreover, the different planes shade into each other so that no hard or fast divisions may be made between the higher phenomena of the physical and the lower of the mental, or between the higher of the mental and the lower of the physical. So right here, let's take a look at this right here. What we've got here is 3 different things. The physical plane is number 1, and the spiritual plane is the 3rd one. Okay, think of the poles. Remember how we've talked about the poles? So you got one pole here, you've got the physical plane, and the other end, you got the spirit plane. And we go back and forth between these poles. And what you have is one end, the energy is vibrating so fast that it's simply pure spirit. Whereas that spirit, as it moves down the pole to the other end, it slows down until it gets to the point where it is matter, something more solid-like, because it's dense, the energy is moving slow. So we observe things in the physical world as physical objects. Whereas things go up the scale and they're moving faster, we don't normally see them because they're moving so fast. We just experience them. Okay? So that's the idea there. In short, 3 great planes may be regarded to as 3 great groups of degrees of life manifestation. While the purpose of this little book do not allow us to enter into an extended discussion of or explanation of the subject of these different planes, we still think it well to give a general description of the same at this point. At the beginning, we may well consider the question so many ask by the neophyte, who desires to be informed regarding the meaning of the word plane, which term has been freely used and very poorly explained in recent works and upon the subject of occultism. The question is generally as follows: is a plane a place having dimensions, or merely a condition or a state? We answer no. It's not a place, not ordinary dimension of space, and yet more than a state or condition. It may be considered as a state or condition, and yet the state or condition is a degree of dimension in a scale subject to measurement. Somewhat paradoxical, is it not? But let us examine the matter. A dimension, is a measure in a straight line relating to a measure, etc. The ordinary dimension of space are length, breadth, and width, or perhaps length, breadth, height, thickness, or circumference. But there is another dimension of created things, or a measure in a straight line, known to occultists and to scientists as well, although the latter may not apply the term dimension to it. And this new dimension, which, by the way, is much speculated about, the 4th dimension, is the standard used in determining the degrees or planes. This 4th dimension may be called the dimension of vibration. It is a fact well known to modern science as well as to Hermeticists who have embodied the truth in their 3rd Hermetic principle, that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. From the highest manifestation to the lowest, everything and all things vibrate. Not only do they vibrate at different rates of motion, but in a different direction and in different manner. The degree of the rate of vibrations constitutes a degree of the measurement on the scale of vibrations. In other words, the degrees of the fourth dimension. And these degrees form what occultists call planes. The planes, the higher the degree of vibration, the higher the plane, the higher the manifestation of life occupying that plane. So while a plane is not a place, nor yet a state or condition, yet it possesses qualities common to both. We shall have more to say regarding the subject of the scale of vibration in our next lesson, in which we shall consider the hermetic principle of vibration. You will kindly remember, however, that the three great planes are not actual divisions of the phenomena of the universe, but merely arbitrary terms used by the Hermeticists in order to aid in the thought and the study of the various degrees and forms of universal activity in life. The atom of matter, the unit of force, the mind of man, and the being of archangel are all but degrees in one scale and all fundamentally the same. The difference between solely a matter of degree and a rate of vibration. All are creations of the all, and have their existence solely within the infinite mind of the all. The Hermeticists subdivide each of the three great planes into 7 minor planes, and each of these latter are also subdivided into 7 subplanes, all divisions being more or less arbitrary, shading into each other, and adopted merely for convenience of scientific study and thought. The great physical plane and its 7 minor planes is that division of the phenomena of the universe which includes all that relates to physics or material things, forces, and manifestations. It includes all forms of that which we call matter and all forms of that which we call energy or force. But you must remember that the Hermetic philosophy does not recognize matter as a thing in itself or as having a separate existence even in the mind of the all. The teachings are that matter is but a form of energy, that is, energy at a low rate of vibrations of a certain kind, and accordingly the Hermeticists classify matter under the head of energy and give it 3 of the 7 minor planes of the great physical plane. The 7 minor planes are as follows: plane of matter A, the plane of matter B, the plane of matter C, the plane of ethereal substance, the plane of energy A, the plane of energy B, and the plane of energy C. The plane of matter A comprises the forms of matter in its forms of solids, liquids, and gases, generally recognized by textbooks on physics. The plane of matter B comprises certain higher and more subtle forms of matter on the existence of which modern science is but now recognizing. The phenomena of radiant matter and its phases of radium, etc., belonging to the lower subdivision of this minor plane. The plane of matter C comprises forms of the most subtle and tenuous matter, the existence of which is not suspected by ordinary scientists. The plane of ethereal substance comprises that which science speaks of as the ether, a substance of extreme tenuity and elasticity, pervading all universal space, and acting as a medium for the transmission of waves of energy, such as light, heat, electricity, etc. This ethereal substance forms a connecting link between matter, so-called, and energy, and partakes of the nature of each. The Hermetic teachings, however, instruct that this plane has 7 subdivisions, as have all the minor planes, and in fact, there are 7 ethers instead of 1. Next, above the plane of ethereal substance comes the plane of energy A, which comprises the ordinary forms of energy known to science, its subplanes being respectively heat, light, magnetism, electricity, and attraction, including gravitation, cohesion, chemical affinity, etc., and several other forms of energy indicated by scientific experiments, but not as yet named or classified. The plane of energy B comprises 7 subplanes of higher energy forms not yet discovered by science, but which have been called nature's finer forces, and which are called into operation in manifestations of certain forms of mental phenomena, and by which such phenomena becomes possible. The plane of energy C comprises 7 subplanes of energy so highly organized that it bears many of the characteristics of life, but which is not recognized by the minds of men in the ordinary plane of development, being available for use on beings on the spiritual plane alone. Such energy is unthinkable to ordinary man and may be considered almost as the divine power. The beings employing the same are as gods, compared even to the highest types of humans known to us. The great mental plane comprises these forms of living things known to us in ordinary life, as well as certain other forms not so well known except to the occultist. The classification of the 7 minor mental planes is more or less satisfactory and arbitrary unless accompanied by elaborate explanations which are foreign to the purpose of this particular work, but we may as well mention them. They are as follows: 1. The plane of mineral mind. 2. The plane of elemental mind A. 3. The plane of plant mind. 4. The plane of elemental mind B. 5. The plane of animal mind. 6. The plane of elemental mind C. And 7. The plane of human mind. The plane of material mind comprises the states or conditions of the units or entities or groups and combinations of the same, which animate the forms known to us as minerals, chemicals, etc. These entities must not be confounded with the molecules, atoms, or corpuscles themselves, the latter being merely the material bodies or forms of these entities. Just as man's body is but his material form and not himself, these entities may be called souls in one sense, and are living beings of low degree of development, life, and mind, just a little more than the units of living energy which comprise the higher subdivisions of the highest physical plane. The average mind does not generally attribute the possession of mind, soul, or life to the material kingdom, but all occultists recognize the existence of the same, and modern science is rapidly moving forward to point of view of the Hermetic in this respect. The molecules, atoms, and corpuscles have their loves and their hates, likes and dislikes, attractions and repulsions, affinities and non-affinities, etc. And some of the more daring of modern scientific minds have expressed the opinion that the desire and the will, emotions, and the feelings of the atoms differ only in degree from these of men. We have no time or space to argue this matter here. All occultists know it to be a fact, and others are referred to some of the more recent scientific works for outside corroboration. There are usual subdivisions to this plane. The plane of elemental mind A comprises the state or condition and degree of mental and vital development of a class of entities known to average man, but recognized to occultists. They are invisible to the ordinary senses of man, but nevertheless exist and play their part in the drama of the universe. The degree of intelligence is between that of a mineral and chemical entities on the one hand, and of the entities of the plant kingdom on the other. There are 7 subdivisions to this plane. The plane of plant mind in its 7 subdivisions comprises the states or conditions of the entities comprising the kingdoms of the plant world, the vital and the mental phenomena of which is fairly well understood by the average intelligent person. Many new and interesting scientific works regarding mind and life in plants have been published during the last decade. Plants have life, mind, and souls, as well as have the animals, man, and Superman. The plane of elemental mind B in its 7 subdivisions comprises the states and conditions of a higher form of elemental or unseen entities playing their part in the general work of the universe. The mind and life in which form a part of the scale between the plane of plant mind and the plane of animal mind, the entities partaking of nature of both. The plane of animal mind in its 7 subdivisions comprises the states and conditions of the entities, beings, or souls animating the animal forms of life, familiar to us all. It is not necessary to go into details regarding this kingdom or plane of life, for the animal world is familiar to us as is our own. The plane of elemental mind C in its 7 subdivisions comprises those entities or beings invisible, as are all such elemental forms which partake of the nature of both animal and human life in a degree, and in certain combinations. The highest forms are semi-human in intelligence. The plane of human mind in its 7 subdivisions comprises these manifestations of life and mentality which are common to man in his various grades, degrees, and divisions. In this connection, we wish to point out the fact that the average man of today occupies but the 4th subdivision of the plane of the human mind, and only the most intelligent have crossed the borders of this 5th subdivision. It has taken the race millions of years to reach this stage, and it will take many more years for the race to move to the 6th and 7th subdivision and beyond. But remember that there have been races before us which have passed through these degrees and then on to the higher planes. Our own race is the 5th, with stragglers from the 4th which has set foot upon the path. And then there are a few advanced souls of our own race who have outstripped the masses and who have passed on to the 6th and 7th subdivision, and some few being still further on. The man of the 6th subdivision will be the Superman. He of the 7th will be the Overman. In our consideration of the 7 minor mental planes, we have merely referred to the 3 elementary planes in a general way. We do not wish to go into the subject in detail in this work, for it does not belong to this part of the general philosophy and teachings, but we may say this much in order to give a little more clearer idea of the relations of these planes to the more familiar ones. The elementary planes bear the same relation to the planes of mineral, plant, animal, and human. Mentality and life that the black keys in the piano do to the white keys. The white keys are sufficient to produce music, but there are certain scales, melodies, and harmonies in which the black keys play their part and in which their presence is necessary. They are also necessary as connecting links of soul, condition, entity states, etc. between the several other planes, certain forms of development being attained therein. This last fact giving to the reader, who can read between the lines, a new light upon the process of evolution and a new key to the secret door of life, of the leaps of life between kingdom and kingdom. The great kingdom of elementals are fully recognized by all occultists, and the esoteric writings are full of mention of them. The readers of Bulwer's Zenoni and similar tales will recognize the entities inhabiting these planes of life. Passing on from the great mental plane to the great spiritual plane, what shall we say? How can we explain these higher states of being, life, and mind to minds as yet unable to grasp and understand the higher subdivisions of the plane of human mind? The task is impossible. We can only speak in the most general terms. How may light be described to a man born blind? How sugar to a man who has never tasted anything sweet? How harmony to one born deaf? All that we can say is that the 7 minor planes of the great spiritual plane, each minor plane having its 7 subdivisions, comprise beings possessing life, mind, and form as far above that of man of today as the latter is above the earthworm, mineral, or even certain forms of energy or matter. The life of these beings so far transcends ours that we cannot even think of the details of the same. Their minds so far transcend ours that to them we scarcely seem to think, and our mental processes seem almost akin to material processes. The matter of which these forms are comprised is the highest planes of matter, nay, some even to be clothed in pure energy. What may be said of such beings? On the 7 planes of the great spiritual planes exist beings of whom we speak as angels, archangels, demigods. On the lower minor planes dwell those great souls we call masters and adepts. Above them comes the great hierarchies of the angelic post, unthinkable to man, and above these come those without irreverence being called the gods, so high in the scale of being that their being, intelligence, and power being akin to those attributed by the races of men to their conceptions of deity. These beings are beyond even the highest flights in the human imagination, the word divine being only one that's applicable to them. Many of these beings, as well as the angelic host, take the greatest interest in the affairs of the universe and play an important part in its affairs. These unseen divinities and angelic helpers extend their influence freely and powerfully in the process of evolution and cosmic progress. Their occasional intervention and assistance in human affairs have led to the legends, beliefs, religions, and traditions of the past and present. They have superimposed their knowledge and power upon the world again and again under the law of the all, of course. But yet even the highest of these advanced beings merely exist as creations of and in the mind of the all, and are more subject to the cosmic process and the universal laws. They are still mortal. We call them gods if we like, but they are still but elder brethren of the race, the advanced souls who have outstripped all brethren and who have forgone the ecstasy of the absorption by the all in order to help the race on its upward journey along the path. But they belong to the universe. They are subject to its conditions. They are mortal, and their plane is below that of absolute spirit. Only the most advanced hermeticists are able to grasp the inner teachings regarding the state of existence and the powers manifested on the spiritual planes. The phenomena is so much higher than that of the mental planes that a confusion of ideas would surely result from an attempt to describe the same. Only those whose minds have been carefully trained along the lines of Hermetic philosophy for years, yes, those who have brought with them from other incarnations the knowledge acquired previously, can comprehend just what is meant by the teachings regarding these spiritual planes. And much of these inner teachings is held by the Hermeticists as being too sacred, important, and even dangerous for public dissemination. The intelligent student may recognize what we mean by this, even when we state that the power of the spirit as used by the Hermeticist is akin to living power, animated force, inner essence, essence of life, etc., which meaning must not be confused with that usually commonly referred and employed in connection with the term, for example, religious, ecclesiastical, spiritual, ethereal, holy, etc. To occultists, the word spirits is used in the sense of the animating principle, carrying with it the power, the idea of power, living energy, mystic force, etc. And occultists know that that which is known to them as spiritual power may be employed for good as well as evil, as well as good, ends in accordance with the principle polarity of fact, which has been recognized by the majority of religions in their conceptions of Satan, Beelzebub, the devil, Lucifer, fallen angels, etc. And so the knowledge regarding these planes has been kept in the holies of holies, in all the esoteric fraternities and occult orders, in the secret chamber of the temple. But this may be said here, that those who have attained higher spiritual powers and have misused them have a terrible fate in store for them, and the swing of the pendulum of rhythm will inevitably swing back to the further extreme of material existence, from which point they must retrace their steps spiritward along the weary rounds of the path, but always with the added torture of having always with them a lingering memory of the heights from which they fell owing to their evil actions. The legends of the fallen angels have a basis in actual facts, as all advanced occultists know. The striving for selfish power on the spiritual planes inevitably results in the selfish soul losing his spiritual balance and falling back as far as it previously risen. But to even such a soul the opportunity of return is given, and such souls make the return journey, paying the terrible penalty according to the invariable law. In conclusion, we would again remind you that according to the principle of correspondence, which embodies the truth as above, so below, as below, so above, all of the 7 hermetic principles are in full operation on the many planes, physical, mental, and spiritual. The principle of mental substance, of course, applies to all of the planes, for all are held in the mind of the all. The principle of correspondence manifests in all, for there is a correspondence, harmony, and agreement between the several planes. The principle of vibration manifests in all planes. In fact, the very differences that go to make the planes arise from vibration, as we have explained. The principle of polarity manifests in each plane, the extreme of the poles being apparently opposite and contradictory. The principle of rhythm manifests on each plane, the movement of the phenomena having its ebb and flow, rise and flow, incoming and outgoing. The principle of cause and effect manifests on each plane, each effect having its cause and every cause having its effect. The principle of gender manifests on each plane, the creative energy being manifest, always being manifest and operating on the lines of its masculine and feminine aspects. As above, so below. As below, so above. This centuries-old Hermetic axiom embodies one of the great principles of universal phenomena. As we proceed in our consideration of the remaining principles, we will see even more clearly the truth of the universal nature of this great principle of correspondence. Okay? And that, well, that was quite a bit. Okay? So there you have it. That is the principle of correspondence. I know today's lesson was a bit longer than the other lessons, but it's very, very important that we understand what this is all about. Okay? So a summary in there is basically everything corresponds to everything else. Every plane corresponds to every other plane. Every principle corresponds to all the other principles. So the lowest aspect of life corresponds to the largest, which gives everybody the opportunity to evolve, because that is what is the thing that is moving us forward. Okay? So let's look at the Warrior of Light message for today, and then we're going to jump into our meditation. The Warrior of the Light is now waking from his dream. He thinks, I do not know how to deal with this light that is making me grow. The light, however, does not disappear. The warrior thinks changes must be made that I do not feel like making. The light remains because feel is a word full of traps. Then the eyes and the heart of the warrior begin to grow, accustomed to the light, and it no longer frightens him, and he finally accepts his own legend, even if that means running risks. The warrior has been asleep for a long time. it is only natural that he should wake up very gradually. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. Now just continue breathing and just contemplate what we just listened to. The principle of correspondence. And understand how all aspects of life correspond to all other aspects. Think about the mind of the all. And understand that this all is the all that represents all of life. And this all exists not only in all of life, but within each of us as drops of this all. And think of the opportunities available. Since the smallest aspect corresponds to the largest aspect, the opportunity to grow and evolve exists each and every moment for each and every being living within the all. So let us imagine going through life, understanding the energy around us, using it responsibly to assist us and assist others in growing, and finding ways to move away from the uses that hurt us and hurt others. Let's just imagine this world being a world of peace and harmony. Peace and harmony that we create by our own actions. And as more people stand up, creating the peace and harmony, let's just imagine the world changing and those causing problems disappearing. And with more and more problems disappearing, more good things continue to happen. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, thinking of all the good possibilities that occur, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment, filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment, filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Okay. Now, take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back tomorrow. We shall continue on. Chapter 8 was today. Chapter 9 will be tomorrow. The link is available at firstcontactradio.com, so you can download the PDF, read through it, reread through it, ask questions, make comments, whatever it is. I appreciate all of the interactions that we have and shall continue to have. It's a lot of great information here. You know, we can get inundated every day with all of the problems of the world, or we could look diligently to find out that there are solutions to all of these problems. All of the solutions are inside here, inside each one of us, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. And once we arrive, we'll understand that we have been waiting for us. So go take a good look in the mirror today, my friends. Look in the mirror and see who is there wanting to arrive. And then simply allow who you are that needs to be here to arrive, because now is the time. All right? All right. That's it, my friends. Have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.